Yo, what's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here, ready for another episode of BP Crow's Nest. I got Ross with me,
Good evening.
and we got Vikes with us. Maybe. Are you there, Vikes? Are you muted, Vikes?
Yes.
All right.
Good evening. Yep. Sorry.
That's good. So we got Bounty 10 going on. Who's participating? I'm participating. Ross, you participate?
No, not this one.
You're not gonna. I'm participating, but not really.
Let me ask you, Ross, why are you not participating?
Well, in all honesty, the reason I'm not participating is I'm just not happy with the game. Certainly not at all. So, and it's just more of that, in my opinion. It's exactly just more of that, and just many different things. So I'm just not doing it. I don't see anything that I need.
Is it like for not participating in Bounty, is it specifically PvP that you're not happy with and that's why you're not participating? Or is it just overall everything?
It would be the PvP primarily, but for me it's everything.
Yeah. So PvP, what were you not happy with about that? The fact that nobody can really get in anything right now?
Well, and
as far as like the top end of the game.
For sure. It's just not fun. I understand the swings, it's how it goes, but when it goes so long of a period when that's what you enjoy doing, and it's just not there, it just becomes not fun.
Well, yeah, didn't we get told like about a month ago that the massive swing should be over at this point? And well, guess what? They're not over.
No, right. I actually remember speaking about when I was really liking was such a short period when I was saying it was just about there. I was really, really enjoying. I think we're just about there. And I think I said that like one day before the things changed. But it is what it is. So I'm not playing. I'm playing the game. So I'm just not doing Bounty.
I know one thing I was glad, and we'll talk more about this later when we talk about the prize list, but I was glad to see that they pulled the Javelin out. Because I think had the Javelin stayed in and then people had started stacking that on top of their blunderbuss and their Howies, and we would have got up to the high T7 bonus on that would have totally been the end of base hitting at that point.
Right. And yeah, so but I see them still introducing that at some point. I mean, they didn't do it for nothing. So that was their intention. That is my concern,
Well, they did say that it's a come out later.
Oh yeah, and I think the whole thought process of it right now is I know it's been brought to their attention that by multiple sources that PvP is so out of whack right now that it's not even funny. And if we had gotten that Javelin, it would have made things even more so. So I think their reason for not releasing it at this point in time is they're trying to figure out something to try to balance it a little bit more. And they knew that releasing it now would just compound the problem that we already have. So I mean, at least we can tell they're aware of it and they're trying to figure something out.
Yeah, no, and I agree that was a good thing. I would have really liked not to, it would have really hurt, long. Well, I just don't know how they would have switched it back, if they would have released it. So that was a good move in my eyes. So I just don't.
I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to fix what they got done already.
Yeah, I mean,
without messing it up more.
Well, that's just it. We get one thing fixes, another one breaks. But I would like it sure would be nice if couple things got worked on or attention. But everyone, there is actually players that, you know, of all different types that enjoy different things. So not everybody's in my shoes, that's for sure.
I know there's several of the alliances who are actually sitting out this bounty. They're not calling it a boycott. They're calling it a, what do they call it, non-participation or whatever, which kind of amounts to the same thing, just a different.
Well, they're joining and just getting on the Nexus.
Well, but actually, I heard that some. Yeah, actually, that is what I heard. To keep other getting the Nexuses.
I would say that I'm definitely in that group that is not participating. My alliance isn't participating. So not just I myself. My whole alliance is not. We lined up in rank order, global rank order in the alpha world, and we're playing the game for sure. You know, there's other things to do. The weekly, couple campaigns we're going to talk about, but just not doing the bounty. And so you're just not happy with the bounty, and that's what I'm not doing.
Yeah, I heard SDS7 is in Alpha World, and they're sniping people who are participating.
Well, it can. I mean, I don't know personally if they are sniping or not. I would think that it could happen. You know, I know that their goal. I know that the goal is not to increase spending, because that would kind of ultimately defeat their purpose, is to show that they're just not happy. But spending shows you are kind of interested in it. So you know, whatever people do, Crow is not going to do that, and I could say that for sure. We're just not. I'm not for sure. I mean, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I get if you want to stand your ground and not participate in something that you don't think is worthwhile for whatever reason, but to like screw with somebody else who's trying to participate in it, I'm not necessarily down with that.
My alliance kind of, you know, I'm an alliance leader. I've been for many years. I try not to tell players how to play their game. Is primarily that's the best that I've found. You can have the most fun in the game with the best group, having fun. I'm not talking be the best players, but if you don't tell people how to play their own game, you do the best. And I just don't do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we just end up spending the whole hour just going on about bounty, let's do some slides, and we'll cover that, and then I'm sure we'll talk more about bounty as we go. So, bug fixes and tuning. They added a note later. They had fixed recent attackers and alliance locators. Finally, that only took what, like 2 months or something.
Yes.
I'm glad to see that back. I'm glad to see they fixed it. I'm happy.
I guess I shouldn't complain about the amount of time it took, and just be happy that it is fixed. They did the first one I really liked. They disabled the Dragon Strike campaign during bounty because people were abusing it, using it to get that 12-hour bubble to protect their bounty. So they've now made it so the Dragon Strike campaign is not usable during bounty, and I was really glad to see that. They fixed an issue where some base part targets were failing to show in the locator. And recent attackers and alliance locators have been fixed there. We had that twice. Good job, Rosh. Put that in twice. What the hell, man?
Sorry about that. Hey, but that's a big thing.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, it's such a big thing. We'll mention it twice. There we go.
Yes, we're very happy about that.
All right. So, as we said, Bounty 10 has started. Obviously, it's an event where Peter's repeatedly smashed one of those bases to steal bounty and spend on PvP tech. The prize is available for all levels, but dedicated pirates who manage to rise up through the ranks will claim the shiniest spoil. Ooh, shiny. So, they've gone back to the drip every 6 hours. That's 800 bounty. And replica bases have returned to their previous payout values from bounties 7 and 8. Thus, they're returning to our most popular bounty dynamic. Okay. New information: securing bounty on demand. Each day, you will have a limited number of daily charges, which you can spend to secure your exposed bounty at the press of a button. Each day starts with a different number of daily charges. Day 1, which is today, you have 5 charges. Day 2 and day 3, you will have 4 charges. And day 4, you will have 3 charges. Note that you get 5 daily charges on the first day, as first day you log onto bounty, not log onto bounty. There's a typo there. No matter which day it is. So, like, if Sunday would be my first day, I would have 5 secure points. So, and every time you reach 10,000 unsecured bounty, it's automatically banked. So, in theory, that's unlimited amount of time. So, in theory, if you have the seat time and the fleet to do it, you can sit down the first day, grind out 100,000 bounty, and be done.
And in theory, you can put a gunboat on your base and click secure when it gets attacked.
Well, now, and here's my question, because apparently I was looking today, and you can actually secure on the map. So can you secure as soon as your base starts to get hit?
Yep.
So, yeah. So hitting bases is kind of pointless, this bounty, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
I had that happen to me.
So, yeah. And that's known going in. I mean, I looked at several things. That was one of the issues why I wouldn't. I mean, I enjoy the base hitting part. I'm not into hitting the map targets. I really do. I liked that. There was one bounty that was really fun, and then it changed.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that, like, the securing bounty at any time, even while you're getting hit, is really good for the defenders. But for the attackers, it's, yeah, no bueno. No bueno for the attackers. It's normally I'm all about things that are for the defender, but I think this one might have went a little overboard for the defender, you know. So, and I don't know. This was something we had it had been discussed with them on multiple platforms that, you know, this was not a good idea, and they needed to look at that, and they chose to go forward with it. So we'll see how that works out for them.
I would have been interested. I'd like the point that you know, every time you reach the 10,000, it is secured. In all honesty, to me, for people that are going for mass points, really a great deal that have them unsecured. That's a good enough addition right there to me.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's a good one. I'm not trying to rip apart the whole thing.
Yeah,
I like that addition. So.
Yeah, no, I played for a couple hours earlier today. I got my 10,000. It secured right away, and then I had errands to go run, and it worked out perfectly for me, you know?
Right.
I do have to say, though, I do kind of miss the chests. You know, the chests were nice little things that you would get at benchmarks, and now we don't get chests anymore. So maybe if they would, like, every time that you hit an unsecured check mark, you get a chest that goes with that. That would be kind of cool, in my opinion. That way you're not totally getting rid of the chest, you're at least getting something. And I personally would like to see him have titanium in there instead of uranium, since, you know, titanium is the PvP currency. That would make a lot more sense.
That's a good point. Those are good things I think that'd be great.
Of course, the hitting rules have changed a little bit. Bounty players are no longer restricted to hitting only someone with more unsecured bounty in order to steal from them. You can now steal from anyone who has any unsecured bounty.
Now that to me is crazy. That's about like beating up on the little guy. I mean, I thought we were really trying to let these people move up. That's not going to really affect the top hitters. That's just going to pound the crap out of the little guy. I see no point in that.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not especially fond of that either. But then I suppose the flip side of that is when you enter in a PvP event, you know what you're getting into ahead of time. So, you know, it's kind of like you knew what you signed up for.
No, I agree. But, you know, okay. So you're going to get the top end players that take no damage running around getting 100 to 200 and 400 off the, you know, the 50 to 60, 70, even 80 bases. Oh, man. You know, that's just kind of that are trying to compete.
Yeah, I don't know. There again, it'll be interesting to see how things pan out and how they develop.
Right.
Yep.
So it started today at 10 a.m. kicks time. It'll end on the 28th at 10 a.m. kicks time. We already talked about the drip. Whenever you successfully defeat a base, you will be stealing 50% of their unsecured bounty. The Nexus stuff is all the same from what I'm reading here. So I don't think that this is the 10th time of doing bounty, and we've had the Nexus, probably 6 of those times at this point. I don't think there's really a whole lot of necessity to go over the specifics of that.
Right.
The replica bases, they're labeled your opponent on the world map, just like that have been the last several times. They're copy of real player bases. They're spawned as NPC targets that pay out bounty. Anyone who participated in the last season could be copied, but the spawning is random. Each replica base can pay out bounty within a range of values. And the 10% additional bounty that was there last time was taken away because they went back to the 800 drip, which in my opinion, the 800 drip is better than the extra 10%.
I agree.
Yeah, because I figured it out. I figured it out. You had to hit like an ungodly number of replica bases at that extra 10% to make up for what you lost in the drips over the course of the event. So yeah, the extra drip is much better in my opinion than the extra 10%. Prizes at 1,700 points. You can get a 12-hour ship build token. You can get clipper missiles, aft razor foils, twin blade, and 24-hour structure build token, which considering we can use base parts to do pretty much everything now, I find the inclusion of a 24-hour structure build token kind of amusing. But I have to say I actually did use a 24-hour structure build token earlier today because I didn't feel like I had I think it was 900 base parts or a million base or 900,000 or a million base parts or something, not quite enough to finish upgrading my one turret, and then they all despawned, and I was just like, screw it, I'll spend what I have and then spend a 1-day structure token for 12 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah, I still like them. I mean, I wish I could save them a little bit more than 2. Yeah, I still have a turret that is just out of reach from changing over on that I'd like to change and experiment with. That is just out of the range of the base parts. So,
at 2,400 bounty, you can get the ATR transformer, the 2XQ mortar, the high explosive shells 4, onslaughts, and you can claim that up to 5 times, and conquest yard 24-hour tokens, and you can claim that up to 5 times. So yeah, it's nice to see onslaughts in there for only 2,400 points. That's actually for somebody a lower level who's participating. That would be a really good hull for them to pick up to at least add to their guard fleet. If nothing else, I'm not sure that it really has much of a place in base hitting anymore, but it's still really good in a lot of people's guards. So, and I mean, for only 2,400 bounty, you can't beat that.
No, it's one of the most relevant guard ships in the game. So at this point, so it's a nice haul.
5,000 bounty, you can start to get Zithanite reinforcements D5X. That is your high-level explosive turret armor. You can get tactical focuses. You can get up to 5 of them, and you can only get 1 per redeem. And you get the CMXM reloaders, the Night Watch countermeasures. So I don't know. I think my favorites on there, I think, is probably the CMXM reloaders, maybe.
There's a couple good ones.
I mean, the Night Watch countermeasure is actually pretty good, too, just because of the deflections that it adds, if nothing else.
Right. Well, and the tactical focuses are great, if you don't have the 5.
Right. That's that. I don't know that that's something that I would personally have high on my priority list. It's like if I had the extra points, pick it up. But I don't know that I would put that high on my priority. Would you put it high on your priority list?
No.
No. It'd be one to get if you can.
Yeah, if you have the extra points. 10,000 points, you can get one of the flag warden ships. Halo missile 2, you can get there's a maximum of 4 we can have now. So, and you get 1 per redeem. So, several people, are talking about, hey, I want to get the Halos. I personally am probably not worried about the Halos because I have my 4 Executioners 2s and my other 2 Halos and my 2 Vulture turrets. So I'm already at my tier 7 8 cap. So I don't know that I'm necessarily worried about the Halos because, in my opinion, the Halos were probably the weakest out of all the missile turrets.
Right, and for those out there that noticed that that you can now get 4 of them, we want to stress the fact that that does not change the 200% cap limit. That's not going to make you stronger by having 4 than having 2. I mean, if you're at the cap limit. So you could use these in a random way. If you were to miss one of the turrets from previous, you could use these to reach that 200%. But once you're to the 200%, adding to now we're going to possibly be at 2 turrets over that in game, I believe, and that does not mean you're going to the 250.
And something that I was talking to Vikes about before we started the show. I think you were away from the keyboard at the time. But eventually, as we start to get all the other tier 7 turrets, like the radioactive ones that I'm sure we're going to be getting next, just because the cannon has radioactive deflection, so it would seem to reason there's going to be radioactive turrets coming soon. And I'm sure eventually we'll get corrosive and concussive and, all the other kits and caboodles, that with the number of turrets that we have, eventually you're not going to be able to have the full 200% bonus for all of the damage types. So that's something to keep in mind too. But also for 10K, we have the penetrative scope, the siege cannon D35V, and the ballistic calibrator, all of which we will be talking about in more detail here later. You can get the Dave Onslaught skin, explosive force, and the Thunderbolt missile storm cruiser skin. I'm actually glad to see the Dave Onslaught skin in there again because I didn't get it last time, so I might actually pick it up this time because there's not a whole lot of other stuff I want. And then, last but not least, at 45,000, you can get 3 impact cruisers. You spend 45,000 points, and you get 3 of them, and that's a limit of 1 claim. So, there you go. That's the prize list. Let's talk about the prizes a little bit in detail. Ross, do you want to do the impact cruiser?
Sure can. We can. The impact cruiser, it's a Draconian class Conqueror hull. It's tier 7. Its weight is 20,000 tons. Armor points is 2,327,500. Now this has it's a ballistic bonus ship, so it has a ballistic bonus of plus 85%. It has a ballistic range of plus 70%, a ballistic reload of plus 75%. So those are huge. Those are all great numbers. The evade bonus on it is 20%. Ballistic deflection is at a 168 or 1,600,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
86,450. Sorry. Tactical field resistance is half 50%. It is of course a 100% defense handicap. It carries all the pass-throughs across the board at 360. The combat speed is 34. Turn speed 30. Map speed 37. It does have thermal imaging again with the. It's pretty consistent. A 78 range on that. It has a 30-minute repair. It has the standard the 8 weapon slots. The armor slots is 5, special slots 6, and it does have the tactical module. Cargo is 6 million. It's a great haul. I mean, it's a great haul, but not. It's compared to the other in the current game. It's nice, but it just doesn't. To me, it's not going to cut the mustard. It came with a ballistic deflection, but it doesn't seem to be able to. It looks like to me it's going to be stopped already.
Yeah. The one thing, and I think I have a slide coming up later of one of the impact cruisers fully decked out with the MC1 and MC2 plane to get as high as ballistic and penetrative deflections as what you can get, and you'll see that you're going to be for anybody that has. The 200% bonus in their T7 missiles, you're going to be lacking against them.
Right.
The range on it is really good, though. I mean, that range is going to be outrageous.
Yeah, the range on an Executioner 2 is pretty decent too.
I mean, because that range on there with the with the other 50%, with the other 50% range is 120% range.
Yeah,
Extra.
it's pretty good. Something I do want to mention that was going on in chat. They were saying that they would have liked to have seen the cap of 8 raise the cap of 10 as far as turrets and whatnot. I would just say, you know, we're having enough problems getting into bases now. If you start adding another, like, you know, 2 more 25% in there, you're never going to get into anything. So I am extremely glad that they didn't make it a cap of 10 instead of a cap of 8.
No, 8's good enough.
8's probably too much in some people's opinions.
Yeah, yeah.
Dan, you want to talk about the siege cannon?
Yes, the siege cannon D35V. It's a Conquer Defender type weapon, tier 7. It's a cannon, ballistic type. The weight is 750 ton with an over damage of your 636, pretty normal. Projectile speed of 350, accuracy of 70, range of 50, damage of 14,226. Reload time of 4.5. Wall damage 35,565. Building damage 21,339. It has reactive deflection added on to it, so you get another, what is that, 105,404 with radioactive pass-through of 360 and combat speed of +5 with it. I mean, I like this cannon. I do like the cannon.
I would just like to, as a personal note, say that I love watching you guys struggle with big numbers that don't have commas in them. Just saying.
As I look at it, yeah, that's okay.
But I do like the combat speed bonus, you know, because going faster, I always like going fast, so that's good. And like you said, 105,000, over 105,000 radioactive deflection, which is what leads me to believe that the next group of turrets that we're going to see is radioactive.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably true.
Yeah, so, and Cuttlefish in chat said, and I tend to agree with him, that this is probably the gem of this bounty.
Yes, I agree.
It's got a nice projectile speed. It does, you know, it's a nice one. It still has an accuracy issue, so it will still miss.
Yes.
Yeah. Fortunately, though, like, you know, when obviously buildings and walls have like 0% of aid, so accuracy isn't really a thing against them. It'll just be against, you know, guard fleets, and a lot of people anymore don't really stack of aid on their guard, so accuracy might not be as big of a deal now as what it was in the past.
Well, yeah, but if we're going to then look at that, we're looking at straight building and wall damage there. We don't have I don't see any splash stat.
No, there is none.
Nope.
So it's going to be like a pew, 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 not a, you know, a whole areas of your wall. If you need me to do that sound effect at any time, I probably could do that again. Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew,
But,
pew, pew.
That's certainly why we keep you around, is for your sound effect accoutrements, you know.
but if you know what I mean, because to me, let's think here. It's going to make a hull pretty dang fast. You know, we got a combat speed of +5% on each. The hull in itself is pretty fast. We're looking at you're going to be to me, this hull most success is probably going to be click the OP and run as fast as you can get, because you're going to take some damage from the missiles for sure. So you're going to have to. It's going to be a time thing. So you're not really going to have time to get through any walls, in my opinion. But you know, that's just. We'll see.
Yeah, this is more of a blitz hull. This is what I'm thinking. It's more of a blitz hull. It's going to be put on for blitzing.
Next we have the special. Ross, you want to take that one?
Yeah, okay. It's the ballistic caliber. Now, I like this one. It's Conquer Defender tier 7. It's 15% weapon weight. Now, this one here is it carries your accuracy buff of 45%. So that was, you know, that's kind of my issue with the weapon. So The ballistic damage is plus 70%, and that's huge, and also a projectile speed with it of 75%. So, and I know that people like that last cannon, but I like this special in my opinion. I really like this special. I think that the chaos at times is missing. It definitely missing accuracy. That's a weapon that I already use. So this is a special that I do like for sure. It's nice.
Is it just me, or does it look like a car stereo?
It it does. It looks like one of the pull out.
Yeah, it does look like a car stereo. You are absolutely correct.
It's like somebody in the art department just took a picture of their dashboard and like cut out everything around the radio and said, "Here, this looks good."
Oh, that's it, man. I was wondering, and they even have a CD insert below.
Well, there you go. So as far as what this will and will not stack with, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with it in the shipyard at this point. So I really can't answer that question. So all I can say is you'll have to go in and play in the shipyard yourself and figure out what it will and will not stack with.
Mm-hmm. But projectile speed, it's good. The combination three is a good combo. It's nice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, as far as accuracy, what it does and doesn't stack with, if this would be better than using the high velocity rounds in a different special, or vice versa. So that'll definitely be something interesting we're checking out.
Oh, yeah.
Next, we have the penetrative scope. And, Mike, you can take this one.
The penetrative scope. Yes, the Draconian Tech, Conqueror Defender. Tier 7, 15% weapon weight. It's got that extra 9% penetrative range and plus, but you get a minus 35% of damage. It's an extra range for less damage.
So, what do you guys think of this one?
Yeah, it's a decent one. I thought it was coming, in my opinion, to match the explosive. We already have it out there. So it just coincides with that explosive special, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, so this would be primarily used on like your spotters if you're using the backup mortars for missile cruisers, or I suppose you could use this to do that Valiant trick that everybody's doing with the explosives.
Yeah, I mean exactly. And those hulls that get penetrative boost range will get an additional range now, just like those did. So we'll get another, interesting wave of base hitting.
It'll be the new how far can I reach into your base to splash out your guard thing.
Yes.
Exactly.
Also this week, they had the Lions main campaign that started on the 22nd at noon kicks time and will last till the 29th at noon kicks time. Your requirements are you must be level 50 or higher, and they suggest using legendary ranked Skyfire or Phoenix fleets. And you can earn the Mana Core, the Roaring Barrel System, the Panthera Scattergun, and the Savage CIC. Prize Pack 1 is where you get the Mana Core. You get... what is that? 19. Wait, what is that? 1900 VXP Mana Core tokens. Yeah, I guess that's the tiny one. I guess.
Yeah.
All right, and then Prize Pack 2, you get the Roaring Barrel System, the 2 times the 9500 VXP Mana Core tokens, and a 1-day Mana Core build token. And then the last one, you get the most important part of the Mana Cores, in my opinion, is the Savage CIC. And then you can also get the Panthera Scattergun and 3 more 9500 VXP tokens and 2 1-day Mana Core build tokens. And we do have the slides for these prizes. We've gone over them before, but we can go over them again real quick. Ross, you want to take the Scattergun?
Yeah. So the Panthera Scattergun, it's Scourge Tech, a Tier 7. It's corrosive damage type. It's 830 tons, so it's kind of heavy. It corrosive defense, it adds plus 4% for each weapon you add to your hull. The projectile speed is 750, so it's nice on this hull. It's high. This hull, it has a splash of 15, a spread of 90, and a range of 89. The damage on it is 5,000. Reload time is 8. It is a multi-shot weapon of 5. So it carries also with it a penetrative damage of 5,000. Submerged damage is also 5,000. Wall and building damage are 8,000. It's a nice scatter gun if you're going to look at it, because in my opinion, with the multi-damage types, this is a good one. It will be you'll be able to use the specials for multiple damage types, and that increases its damage.
Yep, and if you're like me and you're too lazy and don't want to drive the targets and you just want to auto them, this is definitely going to be the weapon that you're looking for.
Oh, 100%. I totally agree. This is my weapon of choice. In all honesty, this is the one for the busy person or the one that doesn't like to drive everything.
This is the one you could use while you're using your app on your phone.
There you go.
Hopefully, yes.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that here in a little bit. We'll get done this campaign, and then we'll talk about the app for a little bit. Cyber CIC, Dan, take it away.
Yeah, this is Scourge Tech Tier 7, the weight of 2,800 ton. It has your minus ballistic defense of 100%, explosive minus 100%, concussive minus 100%, but gives you your penetrative defense of plus 30, minus 100 radioactive defense, but your corrosive defense plus 60%. You get a penetrative range of minus 10 with this one, but a penetrative damage of plus 30% and a corrosive damage of plus 30%. It has also gets your bonus effects to all your ships with a duplicate aura cap of 5. Gives you a combat speed of 10%, turn speed of 10%, an extra 200 structure deflection, cold snap immune, and a plus 200% ship deflection.
It's 200. Yeah, it's just a 200.
200. Yeah, it's not a whole lot, but
yeah,
something's better than none.
Kind of the neat thing about this, though, and it just actually now dawned on me that we looked at the two blueprints, one right after the other, is the fact that it buffs penetrative and corrosive damage, and lo and behold, the Panthera Scattergun does penetrative and corrosive damage. So there you go. It's buffing both aspects of that weapon. And yes, just out of curiosity, is it just me, or does when anybody else hears Panthera Scattergun, do you think of the Thundercats for some reason? Maybe that just...
no, not really.
I do. I don't know about anybody else, but I certainly do. Roaring Barrel System. I'll take this one. Drac Tech Tier 7. Weapon weight 23%. So it's not extremely heavy, but it's a little on the chunky side. Gives you multi-shot plus 3 and plus 6 for heavy. Scattergun reload is plus 60%. Corrosive damage plus 30%. And bonus combat speed plus 10%. So you're getting multi-shot, damage buff, reload buff, and combat speed. Pretty good special in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the multi-shot. Is I'm not sure how we haven't used the heavies for quite a while. It would be neat to see a heavy, but the multi-shot plus 3 is we're used to the 2s. The 3 is nice.
And then we have the Manicore itself. You can take this one, Ross.
Okay, the Manicore. It's an assault ship. It's 20,000 tons. Armor points is 25,750. It does have an anti-missile range boost of 10% and anti-missile range buff of 25%. It has a ship DPS of 20,000, structure DPS of 5,000. The ship carrier has an evade bonus, 20%, penetrative defense plus 45%, corrosive defense plus 45 also. Tactical field resistance, 70%. Ship deflection is 800. Structure deflection is 400. So, it's got some good penetrative and corrosive defenses just in the hull. The movement, combat speed's 28, turn speed's 25, map speed 38. The cargo, excuse me, is 6 million tons. It's standard.
See, you need to save that choking for when we look at the total repair time. That's when you need to start choking.
There we go. Right. Well, this might have been me reading ahead.
Right.
So we're at a cargo of 6 million. And we actually are at a total repair time of 3 hours. Yep, you heard it here. 3 hours. So weapon slots 8, armor slots 4, special slots 6, and CIC slot, all adding on your repair. A lot of repair. And, I've noticed in here it does say tactical field resistance. This hull is really lacking. Really lacking in some type of stun mechanism. I've put agility on it. I've put anything I can think of, and wow, this thing gets stunned. It's basically dead in the water on anything that stuns it. So
yeah. So don't look at this for going out and hitting the current map targets for titanium, because it's not going to end very well for you.
Yeah, and in theory, it should be awesome in them.
It's just, it goes horrible. It starts out really nice, and you're like, yeah, and then wham, you get stunned, and you're like, holy cow, and then it doesn't unstun.
But the bright side being, though, for the current raid targets that we're hitting, you don't have to worry about stun. So
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's a nice hull. Just be aware of that. If you're going to try to use it on some of the old tech that's already out. And save maybe some repair, it's not.
All right, before we go on to the next slide, which I think gets into the Scorpion campaign, I do want to talk about the BP app a little bit. I did not get a chance to make any slides for this, but Kix has released the Battle Pirates mobile app. You can get it for Android or iOS, and it's actually a cool little app. You can do lots of different things on it. Like, from your phone, you can repair your fleets. You can go out and auto raid targets. You can auto FM targets. You can auto chore targets too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you can auto anything you want.
And here's the really cool thing: if you install it, you get 20 free gold.
Yes.
All right. See, I went and I did the old install on the last time for the people in New Zealand. So I'm hoping to get it again. Maybe get a 20 bonus if I install it on my phone. So I'm going to give it a shot. I didn't know that we could actually run the raid off of it.
Yes,
you can select auto targets, auto them from your phone. So that's pretty awesome.
Oh,
I haven't looked at it for bounty yet.
I haven't either, but I don't think I saw anything in the description about being able to do bounty with it. I know they plan on adding more features to it as future progresses, but at this point in time, I think pretty much that's what you're limited to, is the stuff that I talked about.
I'll look right now.
Yeah, then I'm pretty excited about it. The feature, I primarily do events from my phone already. It's just the way the timing is in the month usually, and I prefer to reduce my stress, so I try to fish at the same time.
And you picked the wrong game to play to reduce your stress, pal.
It used to not be that way. You used to be able to come out and honestly, the first couple of years, you could come in here and just beat the crap out of people, and it'd be so fun. And it really was. And you didn't even know them, and you talked crazy, and you said crazy things to them, and then you went and had your day. It's a totally different game now. I still do like the game, but it's just a different game.
Also we got the Scorpion Sting campaign that also started the 22nd at noon Kix time and lasts till the 29th at noon Kix time. To get this campaign, you have to already own the Manicore blueprint. So in theory, you actually could go through to the Lions main campaign, get the Manicore, and then go straight into the Scorpion Sting campaign. Recommended ships are Manicores that will perform better than Phoenixes or Skyfires, but I do believe you can get through this with Phoenixes and Skyfires as well. Prizes. Prize pack 1, you get the Stinger missile. Prize pack 2, you get Strike System 5 and 2 medium Manicore VXP tokens. And prize pack 3, you get the Scorpion CIC, 3 medium Manicore VXP tokens. And then the Mastery runs, which you can do 3 times, you get the Nightmare Manicore skin, 1-day Manicore build token for each completion, and 3 medium Manicore VXP tokens for each completion.
So that's just not very many tokens. In all honesty, the token amount is not very good. The number of battles there.
Yeah, it never is.
Well, no, and sometimes it is.
Well, on these here, they made it worse. But right. I think because they got 2 different ones, they're adding them together and saying that's good.
Well, even adding them together, it's still not good. But hey,
yeah, I know.
Here's something cool. Kyle just said in chat that if your dock is dead and you log on to the app and repair your fleet, it doesn't add the time for the dock repair. So that's kind of neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So yeah, that's definitely something worth mentioning. And thank you, Kyle, for bringing that to our attention because I was not aware of that.
Very good. Yeah. I'll be installing this tonight.
Right. And Cuttlefish also just pointed out the limit on the medium VXP tokens is 5. So if you get to the point where you have 5, make sure that you try to do something with them if you can before you go and get tokens that you can't use and can't hold.
Yeah, good advice.
Ross, you just want to go over the Scorpion CIC and just kind of highlight it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It's Scourge Tech. It's Assault. Tier 7, of course, weights 2,800. Now this one, it gives you a penetrating reload and damage. So the reload 75%, damage 50%. The defense is ballistic, explosive, concussive, radioactive, all negative 100%. The combat speed boosts it 10%. So this does affect all the special abilities that affects all ships. Will be a berserk effect, and it's going to have that's going to last 10 seconds. Then it's going to cool down for a 10-second period also. The duplicate aura cap of 5, it's going to affect friendly ships. A range of 60 will increase their combat speed, will reduce their splash, their combat speed 10%. It will reduce their splash 20%. It will increase their turn speed 60%, and their tactical field aura resistance will increase 20%. It is cold, will make his cold snap immune. Yeah.
So if you want to go for the missile version, the quote-unquote skill hull, this is the CIC that you want.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it's nice.
Yep, that's the way I'm going.
And then we got the Stinger missile, Vikes.
Yeah, it's the Stinger missile. It's a tier 7 weapon missile, penetrative, 900 tons, has 200 projectile speed, accuracy of 100%, range of 76, 9,950 damage, reload of 6, also has corrosive damage of 1,990, and it's retargetable, and it gives you another 4% corrosive defense for each one. I like the missile. It works. It does pretty good.
Yep, another dual damage type. So those are good. You know, when we're dealing with these pass-through amounts, multi-damage types are good. You know, if you take this over into but some of these things you can carry over into PvP world is my thinking.
All right.
Not necessarily that you would this right here, but other weapons we already have been.
Yep.
So.
Yep, and that way, you know, if you have an extra special slot you're not sure what to do with, you could actually put something on here that boosts corrosive damage if you want to. I don't know that I necessarily would recommend it, but you could do it if you wanted to.
Right. I mean, it's a possibility.
And then you got Strike System 5. Obviously, this is just the latest of all the strike systems that we've had. 14% weight increase. You got a 30% penetrative accuracy, a 60% projectile speed, and a range boost of 30%. And you get a combat speed bonus of 105.2%, turn speed of 61.9%, and map speed bonus of 92.9%. So pretty much just like most of your other strike systems, only a little bit better.
Yes, it's a good system.
Well,
and there you have it, the Nightmare Manicore skin.
No, it's a pretty good looking skin. It is.
Yeah, I do like the skin. Yes.
And the close up, like high res graphic, it looks really, really good. When you put it on your boat and put your boat on the mat, though, it gets harder to tell that there's a skin on it. I don't know if you guys have found that or not.
No, I just haven't seen it. Too much. No. But that looks good close up. I can tell you that. It's pretty sharp.
Hell yeah.
And the art department, I don't think gets to control all the the size of their things, because they'd want them huge if they did, because they're doing some nice work. That's nice. So yeah. I think size reduction is what makes it not.
Also, there's an FM prize update. The prizes in the FM have been updated to allow it to be better catch-up mechanic. This is an ongoing change to make sure that FM has the right tech, and they would continue to revisit the content. I did not go through and pull the list, all the new stuff that they added back in. It's on the forums. You guys can go look it up if you're really curious about what got it added back in. It was
I'll tell you, the one thing I got added back in was the resistors that we needed.
Yeah, and I did notice that this week at least is you can claim 2 of them. I'm not sure if it'll be that way going forward, or if that's just a this week thing since we didn't have it last week. So we'll know more about that next week to see whether we can still claim 2 or not.
And I do want to touch on there's a couple new items that have been added in. There's a couple the old limited the anti-mortars in there on some of the tiers. The Visago icebreaker has been also added, and along with the icebreaker print into the FM. So be aware of those if you don't have those yet.
And that's actually really nice that they added the Visago in there. I have to say that's kind of nice.
Yes.
Yeah. For low level guys who don't have dragons, or even high level guys that are still like screw dragons, and I'm sticking with my icebreakers. Yeah,
I'm one of them. I mean, I have them, but I'm using the icebreakers at the moment. So I myself, I never did pick up the Visago. So
well, there you go, Ross. You can get it in the FM now.
It's perfect, right?
Yeah, right now, Damnation, I'm using your auto hull to do the 112s.
There you go. Yeah, it's working for me. I think I did like 8 of them before I had to repair last night.
So just.
And this is just a little slide I did showing the impact cruiser and what its deflections got up to for ballistic and penetrative. If you added nothing but the MZ armors, you can get it up to 5,675,246 ballistic deflection, which is pretty good since they're not putting the javelins in quite yet. However, your penetrative deflection is only going to be at 2,362,860, and as you can see, a Executioner 2 fully buffed and everything on your normal damage is doing 4,469,481 damage. So if you're going up against a base that has their full missile buff going on, this thing's going to sink pretty freaking quick.
And that's with a panel. I'm not going to lie, you can't run around with all the panels. Just
absolutely not. I just wanted to show, at max deflection values what you were looking at.
Right. No, exactly. So right out of the gate, this one's gonna get handed, in the top bases. Now, granted, if you don't have all the tech, it's gonna be a nice haul. It really is. It's got great numbers compared to what's out there. It does not have the numbers to beat the top tech that's out there for bases. Current.
I do think though it could have an interesting place as part of your guard.
Maybe. Yeah. That it could.
Because I know I currently have 2 chain gun onslaughts in my guard, and they may turn into 2 chain gun impact cruisers. Because you're going to get extra range, and you're going to have higher deflections against ballistic and penetrative, and well, maybe not penetrative. Penetrative should probably be about the same. But yeah, I think it could be a decent addition to the guard.
That is, yeah, that is a thought.
Well, I don't know, explosive. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like for fleets that are doing the trick with sloths and Brennises, it's probably not going to be great against them. But for guys who are just running, missile cruisers or whatever, it would probably do pretty well against them.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I got for slides. So what else you guys want to talk about?
No, how are you seeing what world are you guys in for the bounty?
I'm in 454.
Nice. Is it active? Are the 400s active?
I honestly don't know. Here, let me log into the game and I'll tell you.
All right.
Dan, I'm in the 100s, and it's so, I guess.
Right.
I know earlier today when I hit my 10,000, I looked at global leaderboards and I was kind of shocked that the person who was in first only had like 18,000 at that point.
When I looked myself, I thought the numbers were they were actually higher than I thought myself. I'm down here in the alpha world, so yeah, it's rather interesting. Being down here with there's some just magnificent players, to tell you the truth, in the whole world, with as many alliances are down here, and the leaderboard list isn't primarily those players, so it's rather interesting. And I'm looking here in the global.
Yeah, I was just looking at global too. It looks like first place is almost at 50K.
Right.
And it's not one of the big alliances either, is it?
It's SODP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a few more of those doing it than anybody else.
So there you go. That answers your question about how active the 400 world is, because the global leader happens to be in the 400s. So there you go. I know right now I have 10,970, and in the 400 worlds, I am at number 246.
Well, let's say I'm in the 100s, and it seems to be pretty active here. I mean, I only got 5,000, and I'm sitting at 528, and 40,000 is our top in this world.
Well, one of the big things, and I don't think we mentioned this when we were going over the bounty earlier, but they did pull the guards from the base from your opponent replica bases, so that makes a hell of a difference.
Yes, it does.
Because I know I got to the point I was so sick of seeing 5 vanquishers and how long it took me to kill them. Anytime I would run across a base last bounty had 5 vanquishers in it, I would skip it. And now I don't have to worry about that kind of crap. I can just go look and see if they have, count their missile turrets and see if they're fully buffed, and count their Howies and blunderbusses and see how buffed they are, and then can decide if I just want to auto it or leave it alone.
Yes, that was a good thing they done. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, me too. I've been saying the whole time that you shouldn't have to kill the guards in the first place anyway. So they took care of that part and just pulled them totally.
Right. I'm looking at the leader in my world. I guess it's kind of funny because the leader in my world is named Anonymous because they don't want to be known.
That's funny. I wonder if they'll change their name back after the after Bounty's over.
Oh, I don't know. But maybe it was their name going into it. I just don't think it's funny. and I'm hanging out. I'm going to hang out. I think I'm going to take advantage of some medals probably on Sunday. Because those playing with the 4 hours down bubble, it's gonna be all right. So until then, I'm just gonna do I did do the one mission or TLC, so I still have another TLC to do. And in all honesty, I haven't got the weekly done yet, so it's gonna be perfect. I'll just be able to do the old 111s. So it's working out pretty well.
So, Dan, you say you're doing 112s for the FM, right?
Yes.
Have you continued to notice there seems to be a decrease in the damage from them to what there was like 2 weeks ago? Or 3 weeks ago, whenever the last time, like, because I know last week I noticed a decrease in the amount of damage that they were handing out.
Yeah. Well, I'd never really done the 112s before. I only done it when you mentioned how you autoed them. I was like, okay, I could do that too. Okay. I usually do about 4 of them before I just go in and repair.
Yeah, like I said, I went through and I autoed 8 of them. I might have been able to squeeze out a 9th one, but I didn't just like, screw it, I don't care that much.
But I know my build isn't the way I really want it, and I'm just too lazy. Don't have time to fix it.
Yeah, there's something I need to change on my one too, and I'm kind of in the same boat. It's like I'm working on mana cores right now. I don't have time to fix my dragons at the moment.
Like I said, finally on my last refit of my Makira's mana core, and yeah, then I got to go back and refit the right goddamn resistor on them.
Yeah. Well, here I got a question for you guys. This will probably be the last thing we talk about. With the where we're at in PvP right now, where it's so hard for top end players to get top end bases. What do you think they can do to fix it?
There's a lot of things broken. I think to appease myself is you got to cut the price to make me happy.
I'm talking more about mechanics, though. The fact that you can't get into bases that have multiple Howies and ballistas
I think the main issue is, it's been really hard for me to do the adjustments. I'm someone who can keep up in the game in PvP. I really can, and I pride myself upon it. And when I constantly am changing from turret type to turret type because they don't work, right? That's ridiculous to me. The time I totally changed my turrets out, they still don't fit. They're still not fixed. So I guess the main thing I would say is don't put any products out that don't work.
I'm talking more, though, I guess, about the fact that...
Well, their numbers, okay. I would say to fix it is they can do the math. I mean, they're the one that designed this game. They were actually planning on throwing another ballistic turret out while we're already at this point with the numbers exactly on the fleets we have, that they know those numbers. So that was their plan until we spoke up and went, oh, now you're really going to kill PvP. So think about that was their actual plan. That's what they're thinking. That to me is the huge issue then, because they just don't know PvP. They truly don't know the game. And they're looking at maybe stats or participation levels, and they don't have someone in game.
So you would suggest that they decrease the damage that the turrets do?
They don't got
they don't have anything balanced. I mean, I don't think they've had anything right going all the way up. So I'm not totally sure if there's one thing you can do to do a catch-all fix. I think things have been screwed up all the way up. And truly. They just keep making the numbers higher to make the swing go, so it pays off in profit margins. Swing, 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 and it doesn't. They didn't look at their end result, but they had to have, maybe because we all do. I mean, that's for sure they have. So, in fact, that their plan was to swing like this and bring up to these numbers. Oh, well. So that's wrong. The plan needs reevaluated. I guess we need people. I think it's just wrong. We're at a point where look at these hull deflections, and it's not going to get anything already.
Right. They just need to look at it at no ship should be getting killed in 3 shots. They got to look at it that way. There's no way a ship should be getting killed when it gets hit. When it gets hit hard 3 times, it shouldn't die.
Well, and that I think was their armor numbers. And truly, they made it so. That armor is not the greatest. Your MSC should be lasting longer than it is. How long have you had that effective gameplay? To me, that's out the way. That's gone now. The onslaught's gone, and unless the armor is fixed, not the hulls.
Right.
So would it come down to either? It sounds like it would come down to either like a nerfing of the turret or a buffing of the armor.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a major. They can't do a major buff or nerf. It just has to be just enough so everybody's not dying in split seconds. But it's enough where it will kill them if they're actually sitting too long or something. It's just one of those. It's a really tight area to fix once they fucked it up.
I know personally, my opinion, and I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I think they just need to do a hard reset on the game and get the numbers under control instead of dealing with like millions and millions and millions of points of damage. Just get it down to like reasonable numbers, and that would be much easier to figure everything out. And that would be much easier to be able to have base hitting fleets be able to deal damage to guards and vice versa without having to add in over damage and all this stuff. Like, I know at one point in time, World of Warcraft, when they went to their one expansion, they did a hard reset of the stats on all of their all the armors and stuff. So where you weren't having necessarily a piece of armor that added like 347 agility to your character anymore, but even though it wasn't adding as many stats, it was still all around a better armor because it did other better things for you. And that might be something that they want to try to look into doing something similar to that, because I think it's just these astronomical numbers are what has caused all this problem.
I agree. And it's gotten to the point where just the slightest change or, it's such a drastic effect. One support on a warehouse is a kill-all fleet. You know what I mean? That's just, oh, man. That's aggravating as all.
Yeah, and like it's the difference between if you have 7 tier 7 turrets or if you have 8 tier 7 turrets is like pretty huge, Oh,
it's a game changer. It's unreal. And it really is. And for those people that have missed turrets, I've missed turrets myself going up. And then, yeah. And so, yeah, I just don't know.
I mean, my other suggestion, too, would be test a lot more of this shit than what is tested,
No, I would like to touch on that because I hear a lot of the people say, testers. Well, in all honesty, I don't know what's being tested. I don't, okay? But I can tell you that a lot of the testers that I think are testers have been playing quite a long time, and they know what they're doing, and I think it's an issue of the game just not listening to the consumers. I don't think it's an issue with I really just do. I think they're just not listening. I think we've heard, we're listening to, so we're listening to for so long. It's just they're not. So I'm hoping, I would love to see a hard reset. I'd be even willing to, I'm willing to put the game on hold for a little while. I really am. If you could say it was going to get better than it is now, I'm in for it. I'm up for it. You tell me what I need to do.
I mean, yeah, if they had to shut the game down for a week just to fix it right, where everything is back to where it should be, where everything's kind of evened out, what better, it'd be better than what it is right now, and everybody can come back being more happy with the game.
Well, I think more importantly, though, that before they can even think about shutting the game down for a week to fix everything, they have to come up with a game plan first. And I think that's what's lacking at the moment is either they don't have a game plan, or the game plan is so mapped out so far into the future that we have no idea what it is, and it's not affecting what we have currently going on right now.
And you know what? I think that is part of their problem. They're trying to map it out too far, not accounting for any mistakes in between.
Well, and not even necessarily mistakes. It's just like, okay, a year from now, when all the turrets out and all the hulls are out and all the specials and all the weapons are out, things might be balanced at that point. But in the meantime, while we're waiting to get to that point, we're dealing with, well, let's call it what it is, clusterfuck.
No, and I agree. I think if we had an outline, and I don't need details. I'm somebody that can hang. I've played 7 years. The quality of game is not been magnificent from the start. So believe me, I'm still here, and I could be here some time longer if given some type of like an outline helps. I don't need details, but if somebody said, "Hey, the complete thing is in works. Here's my outline of what and by this date, we're planning on having this fixed." I would love that, and I would even be okay with that date changing. Right, because that's life. Life happens, things change, right? But I have an idea on what we're working towards. Not in my opinion, and it's not what they have. Truly, it's not what they have. It just can't be. But it's almost like they write this at the end of each raid in overnight. And here we go. Here's the next swing, and we'll just do this. And we even copy stats and weapon slots and everything from the last. Oh, here you go. Here's your new one. And here it is.
Well, and for me, it's like I kind of, in a way, I almost like that they copy the stats because it keeps the power creep as far from attackers from getting to be way too high. But now, like, the power creep has swung the other way, and it's way too high for defenders at this point. So I don't know if maybe slowing down the rate that they release the turrets that give you the tier 7 buffs could maybe be a starting point. Because, like, for example, right now, if we didn't have all 8 of the missile turrets and we didn't have 6 of the ballistic turrets at this point, that a lot of the hulls that we already have could still be viable in base hitting, but they pumped the turrets out so quickly instead of the same type, as opposed to giving us variety, that those damage types are up so high that you can't get by them. So I think maybe widen the variety of turrets and maybe not so much giving us the same to get our buffs up so high.
Well, and truly just bumped up with crap. In all, really, look at the Halo 2. What's its purpose? Really, right? Just the bump up in the stat, because that's just not even that wasn't a thought through weapon.
The projectile speed on that thing's terrible. Terrible.
Well, all Halos have been terrible,
Well, the projectile speed of this one is the same as it was for the first one, though.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said.
And our ships, but the difference is our ships go like 10 times faster now. Ain't nothing still going to be sitting there by the time that thing lands.
Right. So, I mean, I'd like a little bit more thought in the PvP side. And there's a lot lacking in the PvP. We're at a spot now where a one base holds and the game copies it. One fleet works and the game copies it. And I don't mean the alliance, or in talking the game. You know what I mean? And I just like to see more variety. And I was hoping when the tier 7 hulls came out and the different tack things, and they could come up with just some different options that will make it through. Well, when you make it, you make it so Howie's just 3-shot every ship in the game, you take that fun out. That all that bit about the possibilities is gone to me.
Yeah, I still, to me, it comes back to give us a wider variety of turrets as far as damage types, as opposed to just keep giving us ones that keep buffing each other. Because if we were at the point where we only had, say, four ballistic turrets and 4 to 6 missile turrets, but we would have like some radioactive turrets or some corrosive turrets and things would be a little bit more balanced. So that's my suggestion. Stop giving us all the ones that buff each other right in a row, and widen it out and give us some variety as far as damage types. Yeah. Anyway, I think we beat this horse to death for the moment. So I guess we're going to call it here for the night. Thanks everybody in chat for coming out and participating with us. We try to engage with you guys as much as we can. And I apologize to everyone that the show notification didn't go up until 30 minutes before the show went live. I got wrapped up in doing real life stuff and I totally forgot. Anytime that you happen to see that the show is not up, 5 or 6 hours before when it's supposed to be, send me a message and remind me, hey, you forgot to put the post for the show up, because I can't do everything by myself. I try, but I can't. Yeah, just if you see it's not up 5 or 6 hours ahead of time, shoot me a reminder. But thanks everybody for watching. Give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and share us with all your friends. And we will talk to you next time. Oh, and just so you know, once again, there will not be a show on Saturday because I have to work again on Saturday. So, sorry. See you next week.
Next week, guys.